what we see here is crucial because uh, the second last line of the chapter 1 of Untouchable Spring gives us a very important statement, and that is completed by the last line. So, the second last line and the last line of chapter 1 take us into uh, an area of understanding literature with a new dimension. That new dimension we call Dalit literature. So we can now distinguish it from the stories or novels that were written on low caste people by upper caste people, but they saw it like top down approach. Top down approach means the perspective was, for example, I'm sitting on the mountain that is top and looking at the village, and I have my lens camera, and I zoom into the lives of the villagers. Let us say that's a Dalit village, and my camera then starts picking the data, the life story of different characters there, and then I finish it and say, well, this is a Dalit story. Now, that is a Dalit, that is about the characters who were humiliated or reduced to poverty or dehumanized by the caste system. So, it is a fact that somebody has sitting at the top tried to enter the life of these people as a third person narrative, means the narrator is sitting outside of the story. But now the bottom up approach is that the uh, narrative is not something that emerged out of zooming in effect, but it is from within the experience of the community. Somebody learns reading and writing and then starts telling the tale, and is not only a writer but also a narrator as well as a character. So, being a writer and then a narrator and a character requires one one head of the writer is in the modern period, that is, you know, these different kinds of narratives, you know, history of literature, you know, political science, you know, anthropology, you are educated. But as a narrator, you are telling a story, and this narrator is born and brought up within that environment. So there is a lot of ethnographic approach in that narrator. And then as a character, so as a character, then one is able to uh, distance, uh, create a distance between the writer, narrator, and character. And that helps in creating the uh, drama. That is, we now are able to view and to observe, to view and to observe uh, the entire tale. So we know that the tale that belongs to this community, these people, is full of so many dimensions. So it's not that one perspective from top down is depicting a certain aspect, like of Ghisu and Madhav in Kafan. But here it also talks about the continuation, like a song, like a poem, plumbing the depths, scrapping the conscience, and this is how that goes. So what we see here is that if you look at this entire screen, I think it becomes clearer that we understand Untouchable Spring as a Dalit novel because it will expose that tale of spring without twist, but at the same time, it will explore the continuation of Dalit existence like a song, like a poem. So the generic difference, tale, song, and poem, that is also made here. So I think this is the best possible use of the aesthetics that emerges out of different forms of writing or forms of cultural expression. So it says that it is continuation like a song, like a poem, plumbing the depths, scraping the conscience. So, so it means that Dalit tradition, continuation, Dalit festivals, Dalit celebration, Dalit songs, Dalit sense of resistance, Dalit uh, identity, you see. So this actually creates the identity also. As we see, Kisu and Madhav have no identity in Kafan. I mean, they are almost taken over the mm, by the desire of only drinking the wine or something like that. But here, um, and they even have become, um, you see, I mean, the way they look at the way they see that death in the home. So entire thing is in a way uh, hijacked by that desire. So lot of uh, cleverness. So whereas this portrays Dalit in a very different perspective.